Hi, I'm the Smoking Elk, and today we are cooking Schweinshaxe. Schweinshaxe. Hi, I'm the Smoking Elk, and today we are cooking pork shanks. So today's dish is in homage to Oktoberfest, where they drink plenty of the good stuff and they eat well. And one of those dishes that they eat at Oktoberfest, and indeed probably throughout the rest of the year, is the dish called Schweinshaxe, or Schweinshaxe. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it. My German isn't my strong point, but it's going to be damn delicious. So let's show you how we make it. So here I have a couple of pork shanks. We're not going to do a lot of prep to it. We're going to put some caraway seeds on there, some salt and some pepper. First of all, we're going to score the skin. That's going to help the fat render and help us achieve the ultimate crispy crackling. So I've just scored that as best I can without losing my fingers. And now we're just going to make our rub, which is literally just a tablespoon of caraway seeds in a pestle and mortar. Going to go in with about a tablespoon of salt. This is obviously going to help aid that crispy crackling, and of course some pepper, about a teaspoon. Going to give those a little bit of a bash up. Now we're just going to rub this all over the pork and then get it over to the barbecue. That's the pork ready. I'm going to be cooking these today in the Kamado Joe. I've lit it, brought it up to temperature. We're going to be cooking these at around about 275 Fahrenheit, which is about 135, 140 Celsius. So nice and low and slow. I'm estimating they take around 4 hours, but obviously we don't need to guess. I'm going to be cooking these to temperature, not to time. I'll be using my Thermapen signals. We're going to have one probe giving me the pit temperature, and then a probe in each of these giving me the internal temperature. So that's going to take care of that. I'm just going to set these to one side. We're going to slice up an onion. We're going to sit that underneath these in some beer and sit these on a rack on top, so they're not braising in the liquid, but all those drippings are going to drip down into the pot, into the onions, into the beer, and we're going to make a lovely gravy with that later on. So let's slice up some onions and then get over to the Kamado Joe. The meat is on, we don't need to do anything else until it's done. The signals is going to tell us when it's done. So now it's time to kick back and get into the Oktoberfest spirit. Cheers. So the pork shanks are sat at around about 80 degrees Celsius. So what I'm going to do now is just crank the temperature up, because we want to start to build that crackling. So we've been cooking at about between 275 and 300 Fahrenheit, so between 135 and 150 Celsius. I'm now going to crank it up to about 400, maybe 425 Fahrenheit, so about 210, maybe even 220 Celsius, just to finish it off and obviously try and get that crackling on there. So let's crank it up. So there's our shanks. I'm going to take the Thermapen and just make sure that goes in. Look at that. No resistance. That meat is nice and tender. We've got crackling. Happy days. Yeah, in you go, both of those. They're ready. So we're going to pull these off, serve up. Here they are. They smell amazing. Let's have a little listen. You just hear that crackling all the way around on both shanks. Winner. They smell insane. I'll start the question why I've never cooked these before, because if they're going to be melt in the mouth pork with this crackling, these cost about £2 each as well. So we've got these. We have got the beer and onion gravy. This was the onions and the beer that sat underneath this, soaking up all those juices. All I've done is blend this and season it with a bit of salt and pepper. Didn't even need any corn flour. Got a good consistency. So that's the gravy. We've also done some mash. So I'm going to stick one of these on a plate of mash, some of that gravy. Salivating, can't wait to dig in. So let's plate it up. Let's take some mashed potato, just dump that in the middle there. No finesse. This isn't a dish for finesse. We've been having a few beers. It's Oktoberfest. We've been having a few beers while we're cooking this. We don't need finesse. We just need filth. So this is ready. We knew it was ready because the Thermapen signals took care of monitoring the temperatures for me. So that's done its job. One of these per person as well, surely. Rude not to. So it's going to sit that on there. And then we've got this gravy that we're just going to pour over like so. And that is it. That is my, I'm going to try and say it now after a few beers, that's my Schweinshaxe, whatever it is, pork hock for Oktoberfest with the Crackling. Let's try and go in, have a little taste. Oh, let's have a go on the Crackling. Who doesn't like Crackling? And then look, I'm just going to carve into there. Just show you that meat just falling away. Look at that. Let's go in and have a little taste. Oh, beautiful. £2. Unreal. So like I said, we cooked this to temperature, not to time, using the Thermapen signals. We've tested it for tenderness with the Thermapen. I always like to test it for tenderness. So we've got the Crackling, we've got the juicy meat, we've got the mash, we've got the gravy. I'm going to go in, devour this, because I've had a few beers. Like I said, it's Oktoberfest. So I'm going to go in, devour this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.